PKN 254. Taylor?
With our soon-to-be muscle man sitting here, going to get his TRT, everything rolling. You're going to be pumping iron 24/7, going to get shredded. Or is that the plan?
Congratulations, Woody.
Yeah, congratulations.
Yeah, I went today to get tested to see if I qualify for the TRT. I found a place in Atlanta, and it said, like, just make an appointment, get a blood test. I thought the blood test would be back today. That's kind of how the website made it sound, but gotta wait for the lab results, which makes a little more sense. So I'll know because of the holiday. Either they'll test it tomorrow or it'll get pushed till Saturday. But they'll call me Saturday, and I'll know, and then I can start like right away.
I've looked into this for like years now. So what would they put you on?
It's on their website.
A needle, a cream?
Yeah, it'd be an injection. Yeah, they'd inject me with X amount of testosterone.
Do you have to do it at home, or do you go in like once a month to do it?
I go in once a week, yeah.
Once a week?
A weekly injection, okay.
Yeah.
What were some of the side effects they were warning about if they did it all?
Not a bit. There were some warnings on some paperwork I read, but I spoke to these two young ladies, and they took my blood pressure, and asked me some medical questions if I had any. Like, it was clear which questions were meant for me to say yes and which ones were for me to say no. I felt like, all right, yeah. Now these are the health ones. You don't have any of this, do you?
Hell no.
It's like, wait a minute. I just said I did have some of that on the other one. Well, that's different. like
now, do you have it still? Yeah.
Like, but I'm not like scamming the system or anything. It's like, do you have low energy? I could use more. Mm-hmm. I'd like some more energy.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
How's your sex drive? Could use more. I guess.
Could use more.
Yeah,
I could use more of that.
Lie, just totally non-existent.
No,
I'm basically
I'm not,
a eunuch. Yeah.
I felt like I shouldn't lie to my doctors. Yeah, if they were doctors, I wasn't showing any sort of paperwork. They took my blood though. I allowed that.
Hi everybody.
Yeah,
that's who you walked in and saw.
I'm pretty sure the receptionist took my blood. Not even kidding. I swear to God, like I get there and you walk in and then there's like I sent you guys a photo. There's like sports pictures. Yeah. It's like Mayweather versus McGregor on the wall, and like there's like Falcons jerseys and Braves jerseys and stuff. Lots of sports related stuff. And I'm sitting there, and this pretty blonde girl comes out, and I'm chatting with her while I fill out my paperwork. She dates a guy who lives near where I'm from. So like she knows my hometown and stuff like that. So I'm talking to her a good bit, and then she's like, "All right, she can come back. She'll see you now." And I go back, and this black,
okay,
yeah, black, yeah. There's two doctors there, and
a woman doctor.
A woman
what
doctor.
What does she know about testosterone?
I've seen everything.
And I was surprised that the receptionist sort of stayed in the room with the doctor, and she's like, any erectile dysfunction? I'm like, no.
Not unless that's integral to this process.
I like to think that
yes, debilitating.
that the receptionist gathers like your blood type and your numbers and your phone number because you are a few days away from rock hard erections and voluminous semen.
Yeah. She was.
She's like, I need his number because shit's about to get cool.
It's this 27-year-old blonde chick just sitting in the room.
They should have a hot bitch fraud detector in the TRT unit where she comes in with her tits out and she's like, "Now this is just our fraud test. Take your hat off, please." You're just stiff as a board, and she's like, "I'm sorry, you failed." So you'd have to come back just drunk.
Yeah, I was like, really? No issues with that. She's like, but it could be harder, right? I'm like, could always be harder.
It's a cool ass
just going through all the questions and everything, and basically it was a lot of stuff like what are the symptoms that you think you have from perhaps diminished testosterone? What are the benefits that you would like to get from testosterone replacement therapy? And I mean the list fills out itself, right? Like, well,
you just said ridiculous shit like, I want to be taller.
It was like,
can I kindly get some hair loss?
It was like, well, I would like some denser bones, denser. Who wouldn't like denser bones?
Could have used them 2 years ago.
denser bone switch or whatever. So you know, I just went through all the forms and everything, and she's still sitting there, the pretty girl, and I'm just like, why is she still in there? I would feel more comfortable if it was just me and this other lady. And then she's like, all right, and then the blonde girl takes my blood pressure. And I'm like, well, that's not too medical, you know. You just she puts a thermometer in my mouth. She puts that little clippy thing on my finger, does my oxygen levels, my blood pressure. I'm like, this is some mom shit. Like this isn't doctor shit.
Mm-hmm.
And then she's like, all right, now she's gonna take your blood. And I'm like, she's gonna take my blood? And I literally start getting nervous about her like missing the vein over and over. I'm like, she's gonna be a fuck up. There's no way this chick is a pro. She honestly was a pro. I've had it taken, I don't know, 5 or 6 times in my life, and there have been times where they missed a bunch. And this girl was like, I barely felt a thing, and it was right in. But I was so nervous about her doing it, and I had these mental images of her like bounce that like I browned out a little bit, I was like, I was looking away at a McGregor poster or something like that, and I was like, give me strength, Connor, give me strength, and it just started graying out.
Do you have easy veins?
I don't know. I've never done any heroin or anything, but usually.
I said without fail, every single time I've ever had to give in blood or blood tests, they compliment my veins. I guess I thought that happened to everybody. Ever. What'd you say?
I've never had a miss. Like I've never had someone miss my vein. It's always first try.
I gave blood in high school, and I'm pretty sure they had the C team working on the high school kids because that bitch missed me 3 times, and I was like, "This is your last chance."
They should have, like, the doctor, as he was watching you brown out, he'd be like, a sign of low T, almost passing out from blood loss. Write bitch made right on your
pussy boy.
Yeah,
B-O-I.
B-O-I.
I'm looking at my vein. There's not much to see, really. But when you put the tourniquet thing on it and you pump your fist a time or two, they always get it.
Yeah, I don't think they were aware that I was getting lightheaded. I didn't say anything or anything. I hope this isn't a sign of having like a medical condition that would disallow TRT. I better look strong, but not too strong.
Better look happy medium.
Yeah, I gotta look about 52%.
Strong enough to survive the treatment, but weak enough to require it. like that was totally the happy medium. That
timeline. I guess.
Well, I think like if the Saturday, labs come back tomorrow, which is a possibility, they'll call me. Then I could zip up there tomorrow and get an injection.
So then every Wednesday you would just swing by and get another injection.
Yeah. They give you a shot in the ass. And I think it just depends on how much you need. I did a little bit of research, but it just depends on how many cc's of testosterone you need per week. And like I was clicking around trying to find like information about this, and the first guy I saw is like a hulk of a man, like not a real look. He looks like Paul Costa, the UFC fighter or something like that. Just those deltoids that just are just spheres below his collarbones, over just these spheres here, and then flat, and then these crazy traps coming up. He's sitting there looking like the seat is uncomfortable having him in it, and he's just like, let's say hypothetically I'm on 125 cc's of tea a week. That might not work for you. You might not be able to build muscle on that. And I'm like, bullshit. Because it's working for you, motherfucker. You have strapped on like a 50-pound dog bag of nothing but muscle onto your skeleton in the last 2 years. It's shocking what you've done with 150 cc's or whatever he's on, milligram, whatever it is.
Is that your plan?
I think they're waiting for his results to determine his dosage.
Yeah, exactly. They'll give me. My understanding is like they'll give me as much as it takes to get me to like optimal levels, and I think optimal levels are like that of like the highest levels that a man would naturally ever have. So like, if that's 800, I think that if that's 800, then and I've got 725, they're like, you can use a little topping off. We top you off and give you 75.
Dude, I do not want to go back to whatever level of tea I had when I was 17. I was just wired, out of control.
Who knows if at 17 you were even optimal though? Maybe at 17, I mean, you were definitely were, But me at 17, maybe not. Maybe my highest peak ever was still like 300 points lower than like the highest, than like an Arnold Schwarzenegger or something.
Well, there's
like
no
that.
reason
Although
not to try.
yeah, I'm looking forward to it. I hope everything goes well and I get signed up for it because that'll be cool. And like you said, yeah, if they give it to me, like I gotta start working out. Like it would like what I used to talk about, like ordering a bunch of supplements and like the dollar amount I'd spend on them would kind of be like, hey, it's $200 you spent over here. Kind of wondering why you're not at the gym. Doesn't really make sense for you to watch cartoons if you're eating protein powder.
Yeah.
Really gotta. How much creatine have you had today?
It's like It's Always Sunny, where they're like, we figured out the gym sucks. The supplements are doing enough on their own. Let's just do the supplements. Cut the gym, do the supplements.
I wish that worked.
So it's
it'd
like
be
if
so
I'm
great.
literally doing testosterone, then
You
I
gotta get in the
gotta
gym.
work out. Like I feel like I have to, and
Mhm.
and I would imagine that maybe I would, if I didn't, then I'd have a lot of pent up fucking anger. Maybe anyway, like I could see that
Just
being an
energy.
issue.
You wouldn't be
Yeah,
able to
just
sleep,
energy too.
probably.
Yeah. That was one of the things they talked about a lot was the energy and the better sleep that often came along with testosterone. And a guy was like leaving as I was coming in, and he was fucking huge. Just fucking huge. Just a real beefcake.
That's what
Mac,
you want. A walking billboard for that clinic where you're like, yeah, I want to be that guy.
Mac would have been all over this guy. He'd have been greasing him up, making sure he didn't get dry.
So you're bringing your you got a full gym. Maybe people don't know.
Yeah.
You got a full
Yeah,
fucking
actually,
high quality gym and storage. And you're
Taylor's
gonna move
been
that back
talking
in.
about your cable machine. Now help me understand. Like I have a cable that you could do like push downs with. I don't even know what to call them. They're the
Yeah.
extensions. But do you have like a cable machine with the wings that like
Not like the Bowflex thing. I've got a machine where you add plates to the back, like a stack,
Mhm.
and then there are cables that go up into pulleys that allow you to do like the leg exercises and like the pull down things, and it'll turn into like a bench press, and it'll turn into like a squat thing.
when you
like
set it
it's-
up, please send a picture. I
It's
thought
that yellow thing that Wings is always, that is always seen doing like 80-pound bench presses on.
Yellow
You know what?
thing,
In
I'm
any
trying to
case, I
think.
really would like you to send a picture. Just I'd like to see your gym.
Yeah,
course,
it's nothing. It's nothing too crazy. It's not like I think I bought it used for like $400 or $500 like years ago.
That's not
Yeah.
bad for a cable machine at all.
Oh, it was years. Again, maybe our definition of cable machine is different. When I heard cable machine, like I said, it's got that stack of weights that you can like add plates to on the back, and then it's got cables that come up from that. So when you do like a pull down, it's running the cable through a pulley and lifting that stack of plates over and over. But it's got like lots of customizability, so you can just like hook something else up there and do like these close pull down things. Or
Is it something kind of like what I just linked?
let me
No.
see. No, it has a bench. It has a bench press, sort of where the man is standing there. Now that could be slid away.
Yeah. For this one, you could do that too. You would just take those anchors on the side, slide them all the way to the bottom, put the bench there, and then push upward.
But I still don't have the sort of. It's still not like this at all.
Yeah, you're manually adding plates. You mean?
Yeah, I'm definitely manually adding
Also,
plates.
it has
but
one cable.
I think it has two, but your point is still the same. That like it doesn't have this sort of like double arm.
You don't have a
out to the
cable for each
side
arm.
ability. Exactly. There's one cable that's like it's really like there's a pull down bar that you can put a number of attachments on. There's a like a bench press option that
Is that just the long tube that you hook the cable onto both sides and you do the bench from the cable? Because it's not a free weight plate bench, is it? Like the kind of setup I have where it's just a bar.
It
on the
is.
rack
It is.
And you put,
Yeah, it is. It also has the ability so that like you have like a bar in each hand. Like it's not a straight bar across. It's like two separate bars, one for each hand, but they're sturdy and everything's solid. And on the outside of that, you can stack plates. So it's and then it's got like all the leg functions that like I think the exercises that people like to pretend to do if they want to like go to the gym for 30 minutes and say, yeah, I did it. Like those like kick forwards and stuff, and the thing where you lay on your stomach and like do like calf curls or whatever the
hamstrings,
fuck.
There's no way to do that without looking like a douche.
The
Like, laying
worst
on
is the
your
one where
belly.
you pull your legs together.
The butterflies.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh God, burning my groin out
Get a
today.
good burn over here, boys.
Yeah. Well, I'm happy for you. You should definitely jump headlong into fitness because I've gotten way more into it recently. Like I've tuned up my diet a bit. I the pictures you've been sending us in our group text, Kyle, much healthier than I'm accustomed to getting from you. Like I've known
I've been on
your
a
very
fish
hard
kick.
and principled
For people that
stance
don't know,
against
he's talking
vegetables.
about pictures of food. Kyle's been
Yes.
cooking.
Pictures of food. So Kyle
Yeah.
has long maintained his anti-vegetable stance, and he's never wavered.
No,
And,
he's been
and
hard
the
fast.
last 3 meals that Kyle has sent to us have been healthy fish and a ton of asparagus and Brussels sprouts or something. Like, is there an impetus for that? Like you're almost
Well, I
prepping
figured
yourself
if-
to get ready for the TRT
Exactly.
so you can get yoked?
Exactly. I figured if I was going to do, I'm kind of all in or all out with most things. You
Mhm.
know,
Do it.
like I don't like to sort of pussyfoot around about something. So if I'm literally like driving an hour to get testosterone shot into my ass and bringing 2,000 pounds of workout equipment to my home, then it just seems like a good idea maybe not to eat Five Guys burgers and fries like at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
And I always wanted to try cooking fish. It's something I've kind of been intimidated by, like pork, chicken, and steak. You can't really fuck them up, but fish is so delicate, it's really easy to mess up. So I've been cooking swordfish, Chilean sea bass. I've got some halibut in there. I've got some scallops in there, and salmon. And so I've been like copying like Chef John from foodwishes.com, copying his fish recipes and cooking those up.
Have you baked any of them, or have they all been stovetop so far?
I've done everything sauteed so far. Yeah.
Okay.
My
That's usually the best way to do
opinion
it.
on Kyle's cooking has changed and grown. So don't mock me too hard for my previous beliefs. They're my old ones. But when I first heard Kyle talking about cooking, it was like, boring. Why would you spend more time preparing a meal than eating it? Duh. Right? Like I'm the smart one in the room on that one. And now I view it more as like a parallel to woodworking or craftsmanship, right? He's not just like, I don't know, preparing sustenance for lunch. He's building a project that the end result is a meal instead of a piece of furniture or a deck or whatever. But this is it's kind of a short-term crafting. I view it more along the line of like artistry or woodworking or something than just preparing a meal.
Yeah, you should show them these pictures so they can see. Just merely, what was it, a week ago, you were shitting on me for eating so much asparagus, and here you are.
I had never eaten enough to make my piss smell bad, and for
It's
the
immediate.
the first day, I was like, "What's that stink in the bathroom? Is the heater burning out? It smells like burning electronics in here. Oh God!" And then I go back and piss again. I'm like, the heater's burning out in here. And then like I used my other bathroom, and I was like, "There's no way. This is my piss.
Yeah,
My piss smells
terrible.
awful."
Oh, it's bad. And
Because
Kyle,
I ate a pound of it. I ate a pound of asparagus.
I've never
Dude, you got all your
tasted my
vitamins for the
own
week.
asparagus semen, but just from the odor of it, I know it's not meant for human consumption. You might do a lady friend, if you know you're in this situation, a favor and just,
I don't think that it affects semen flavor, because with the amount of
wait.
asparagus
Oh.
I eat, I would have gotten some feedback.
I think you might have a very kind girl in your life, because this is like an internet meme, asparagus semen. And
Oh, I didn't know that.
yeah,
All right, well, I'm cutting back on the asparagus. We're gonna add more broccoli. Zucchini is the one I'm on right now. I'm gonna make. I've been adding zucchini to the mix. That's those little round things there. I just
Yeah,
sautéed it
zucchini's
in
good.
like salt and pepper and olive oil last night. But I think the next thing I'm gonna do with zucchini is make zucchini fries. You cut them in French fry shaped slices, and then you just put egg on the outside, and then dip them in shredded Parmesan cheese and bake them.
That sounds
And,
great.
I don't know. It looked pretty good.
Dude, it's got
but,
Parmesan on it. It's going to be fine.
Well, it's nothing but zucchini and you put seasoning in the Parmesan, so it's got like a lot of seasoning on it. And I'm gonna make some aioli. I'm gonna make like a garlic lemon aioli to dip them in, so that'll be good.
that The real victim in this is Jackie, because Kyle has not inspired me to make anything better, just to ask for things that are better.
Yeah,
It's like-
that bottom picture.
Just text her photos that Kyle sends you and be like, "Do it."
I didn't open the
What kind of
bottom
meat is
picture,
this?
so I'll
It's
share
a
it
So
with
fish.
that
everyone.
so the bottom picture is it looks kind of ugly, but it was probably the tastiest of everything. It's red beans and rice. I used again Chef John from foodwishes.com's recipe. He's a YouTuber who would 3 million subs or something like that. He's a really good chef and he makes great tutorials. And it is kidney beans. There's a ham hock in there. There's a pound of andouille sausage, which is this spicy Cajun sausage. A lot of different seasonings. There's a pound of onion, a pound of poblano pepper, and a pound of celery. And it cooked for about 5 hours. And it creates this sort of spicy, savory, kind of like chili, kind of like a chili. And then I have a instant pot rice maker. So I made a fancy little rice sphere there and threw that on top.
Next time
Very
Jackie asks
tasty.
me what I want, I'm going to lay out that 5-hour recipe for her. And just tell her that's what she should be. I would like red
But see, it's not
beans
5 hours of work. It's I would say it's in total maybe 30 minutes of work.
Now, how many servings did you make in that? Like, is this something
I
you
made
can have?
enough. I made it. Well, I ended up throwing the rest of it away because I made so much. Like I followed his recipe,
Mhm.
and I think he's making recipes for like a family of 4. So I had enough. I ate it for like 2 or 3 days or something like that. But I'm so skittish, especially after getting that food poisoning the other day. With
Right.
that like I don't keep leftovers more than 3 days.
Okay.
So I ate like 3 bowls of that and threw it away.
Fish
there's
is one of
plenty
the
more.
easiest things to make for yourself super quickly. Like fish and sautéed vegetables, like takes 0 time at all to saute vegetables, and fish cooks faster than chicken, pork, beef. Like
Yeah,
a
it's
couple
quick.
minutes
It's
of
pretty
fish, and
easy
it's
to mess
boom,
up.
done.
Though. I've had some bad fish.
I put
It can
olive
be,
oil
but
in the
practice makes
pan.
perfect.
Olive oil in the pan. Fish goes in. Count to 3 minutes. Flip it over. Count to 2 minutes. Then I crush 2 cloves of garlic and mix that in with the oil. And then I squeeze an entire lemon. Throw a knob of butter, and then I start basting for like the last 2 minutes. And when it comes out, it's like this delicious, crispy on the outside, seared skin thing that tastes of butter and lemon and garlic.
Sounds
It's
great.
really good.
Yeah.
So the working out part of it, are you gonna consult a trainer or just go on like bodybuilding.com and make a plan, or just watch around on YouTube? Athlete X on YouTube is the guy to go to if you need tips for form and stuff. That guy is ripped out of his mind, and he always has like so many of the other like fitness channels that I would try. They'd be like, now they say to not do a front squat. I just picked a random exercise.
Yeah.
They say to not do this way and to make sure your legs are bowed out more, but I prefer it the other way. It's just more comfortable for me. Whereas Athlete X will be like, now the reason you specifically don't want to do this is because it retracts your scapula. When you retract your scapula, look at this graph. The muscle groups here aren't being activated. You're actually getting, you're putting too much strain on the rear deltoid. So, and it's like, I fucking get it now.
A lot of the bros on YouTube are, they're gym bros, and they're experts in a way, but this guy, I think, is a physical therapist by training. So not only is he like a gym bro, but he's educated and understands it and helps
Yeah,
people
Well, I'm not
get
sure if you're
really,
covered.
aware,
really helpful.
but I've personally worked as a personal trainer, so I feel like I got that squared away.
That's
I'm just
okay.
gonna-
Fair enough.
Yeah.
Well, physical therapist is more akin to doctor than.
I was
I'm
a physical
sorry, I'm
trainer.
not
I was
putting
a
the
physical
respect on your
therapist.
name that it deserves. You're right.
No, not at all. Not at all. I was a one-man stop. There was some psychiatry mixed in, some motivational
Mhm.
activities. I was also a chef there. I was a real videographer, editor.
Athlete
the
X
whole
is
nine.
incredibly informative, but I don't find him to be as much. You know what? He has a lot of gifts. Fun's not one of them.
No, he's not entertaining at all, but
He
that
tries.
keeps me more focused.
tries
Where
so
like when he
hard.
tries to get jokey with it, I'm
Oh.
like, Athlete, just fucking tell me how to do the workout and exactly what muscles it's gonna work, and give me like your end of the video few tips of don't do this or you're gonna fuck up your joints.
And then he's
kinda
got
stuff.
Jesse in there wearing like short shorts or a pink crop top or something.
Yeah.
Jesse, by the way, is a guy, and like they're going for funny, and I get it.
Not getting there.
I guess.
No, they're not getting
It's
there.
just not his gift.
You go to Athlete X for information if you want like a fun, like guy for fitness on YouTube. It's Juji Mufu. It's got really long hair, ripped out of his mind, does like backflips and stuff, and like he's a lot of fun to watch too. And all these guys are so shredded, it's just motivating when you watch. Like you'll watch like one video or two and be like, I could be lifting right now. I could be taking another step closer to this guy.
One last one I want to throw out there for Kyle or anyone who's interested. Buff dudes. So buff dudes have a series of videos that just show you form. And oftentimes that's what I need. And some do nots, which I also kind of need. And they'll do a video. They'll be 2 minutes long, 90 seconds long on how to do a squat. It's like, thank you for that. I didn't need 12 minutes on the evolution of the squat over time from Egypt till now. I just
yes. You could not be more right about that, because I'll watch like some of those guys will be like, perfect bench press form. And instead of doing what like buff guys or Athlean or those guys do, where they're like, hey, we're here to learn how to bench press. So now let's start learning how to bench press. And then they do that. They'll be like, all right, guys, I got with me Ted. I got Muscle Steve-O. I've got Sunglasses Alan.
And all their qualifications and their channels.
Before we get going, we're going to have a watermelon eating contest so we can get a real good pump.
Yes,
it's like, you fucking cunts. I don't give a shit how many watermelons you can eat. What am I doing wrong with my form to get more chest gains? But
do they really do that? Do they have a watermelon eating contest?
No, I picked something the dumbest thing. Good. But they'll do stupid shit like that.
Honestly, I don't like. I probably won't look at anything. I'll just lift weights until I can't, and then
bodybuilding.com is really helpful for that.
Yeah, I mean, I know I know most of the basic exercises, and I just feel like that'll do.
You're 33, is that right?
Yeah.
Yeah, you might be fine. When I was 33, I would just exercise and be fine. At 45 and now 46, I find that if my form's not money, then I get hurt. And it's almost like exercising becomes a subtraction. Like, all right, I wore out my shoulders a little bit today. I hope I can work out on Wednesday. And
they do these IVs at the place too. If I get the TRT and I actually do start working out, I might mix in some of the IVs. They'll give you like this sports related IV, and like it's just a huge amount of like vitamins and minerals and like stuff to help sports performance, and they'll fucking just stick a needle in your arm and give you a bag while you're there.
I wish they would slip you like some saline solution every now and then so you could tell which one was placebo and which one wasn't.
Yeah.
A couple weeks goes by, like, dude, 2 weeks ago that one was bullshit, right?
You caught us.
Yeah.
The same for it. That's how that's why this program is so good. You get charged whether or not it's the placebo. So Kyle, what are your goals? Like your gains goals? Big chest, big arms, big traps, big legs, flat abs. What's your?
I think
your
it's
goal?
far too early to even care about that. I'll see if they give it to me, and then I'll go from there. I just I think that if you get too goal oriented, then you can disappoint yourself very quickly. And I think it's better just to go and stick to it for a month or 2 months and kind of look for results and be happy with whatever results you've seen.
You know what you should do? I'm thinking this now, and I really think you should take a before picture. Yes. You don't even have to ever mention it again, but your time for taking your before picture might end tomorrow, right? So just like get your before picture, and
this is what my wall used to look like before I had all the rage.
Yeah, and then
now look,
results or no results. You might want to show your before and after results, so you might just bury it, but it'll all be on you.
I do that every time I work out. I have never wanted to show the befores or the afters.
Okay, maybe this time's different. Maybe you'll be Paula Costa.
Delete.
What were you thinking?
Yeah.
This is the after?
Oh no! Yeah.
Turns out working out 4 times in 3 weeks doesn't do a lot.
Yeah.
No, when we all get on a nice little fitness weightlifting kick, I think it's like a rising tide that raises all ships. Like we all go with it more.
I've been good lately, kind of. So I've been good when I'm home. Last 3 weekends in a row, I went to Georgia, Utah, then Georgia again. And you just don't hit the gym when you're not home. At least I don't. But it's replaced with really active days. Like I climbed a mountain one time. I hiked a mountain. Climbing makes it sound different. I'll do 18,000 step days of just like loading anchors on and off boats and carrying things around and getting people launched. And 18,000 steps is a lot for me. I don't know.
No, that is a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah. I might pick up a hobby like that. Like rock climbing would be fun. I would want to do indoor rock climbing. I've been watching. I bet everybody has seen a video of that guy who free soloed
Can you
that.
say that again? You wouldn't want or you would want? I didn't hear.
I wouldn't want to do real rock climbing.
You prefer indoor.
I prefer the safety that indoor provides and the air conditioning.
I understand.
And the ability to like park, rock climb, get in your car and go.
Uh-huh.
I like the things. I like all of those things that come along with indoor rock climbing. And I don't care for the doom and death that could possibly come around with, and actually learning to rock climb that might come along with outdoor rock climbing. But I watched the video of that guy who free soloed that thing in Yosemite. He's a young guy,
Alex
and his
Honnold or something. El Capitan.
probably he did a TED talk. He was on Rogan. I watched a video last night of him reviewing Hollywood rock climbing. It was really cool to like see he's watching like Tom Cruise in Mission Impossible 1 or 2 or something climb this rock face, and he's like, well, that's just insane. That's just insane. You'd never do that. You'd never do that. Like he's going into like an iron crucifix there, and what he didn't even have to. He could have just.
It was neat to watch that come from an expert. He'd be somewhere
Yeah.
they're like, this is Hollywood silliness. You know, that's not even how you'd recover. And there were other times when he was like, that's a real thing, actually. And
Yeah.
they're hanging upside down, like with their balls on their forearm, and they're like, that's a resting position. Is it?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's like Sylvester Stallone and Cliffhanger like climbing ice. He's like, well, he's climbing ice with his bare hands. You would never do that. He's holding on to an icicle. I don't even remember this scene. And I was watching it. I was like, this must be in the deleted scenes because I've seen Cliffhanger at least half a dozen times, and I'd never seen that scene before. Cliffhanger is great if you've never seen it, and by great I mean it's like a early '90s action movie with Stallone and I can't think of the actors' names, but it's the tall guy from Harry and the Henderson, the old guy, whatever his fucking name is, and it's the guy who says "Mary Poppins, y'all" from Guardians of the Galaxy. He's in there too, and it's Sylvester Stallone as a rescue climber, and he ends up with none of his gear being forced to climb these mountains and retrieve money for these terrorists. And of course, he's Sylvester Stallone, so he just does it. He's just climbing ice with his bare hands and stuff. It's great. It's great.
You know my issue with indoor rock climbing? So I used to go, I don't want to act like I was into it. I wasn't. I was a guy who rented shoes. But there were people there, and you could tell they were the cool kids, right? And they're bouldering lines that I could never dream of doing. And I'm just like, the bar's too high for this. If you're not an 18-year-old with 6% body fat, you're just cast to the side.
Oh, yeah. That was a hobby that I figured out I do not have the build for quickly. The first time I went to a rock climbing place, I was just like, I'm too big for this. Like
Very quick over short distances.
Pretty much. Very quick over short distances. Yeah, pretty much that. Like I would get like one grip on it and be like, okay, I feel pretty safe here. Pretty soon I'll be ready to take my other foot off the ground. And then I get like a little bit. I also am not a fan of heights, and so that kind of spooked me a little bit. Like if you actually, when I would succeed and get like 8-10 feet.
I don't. I would be really fucked up with actual heights, like actually climbing something where like if I were to slip or fall or this were to break, I would just fall and like get crippled at, fall 50 to 100 to, whatever, 400 feet or whatever, those crazy mountains they climb. But like indoors, I wouldn't give a shit. If I've got a rope, I'm fearless. Like I've always felt like that. If I've got a rope, like I'll do some silly shit. Yeah, like it takes a bit, but like we did some junior rappelling. You and I did.
Yeah.
The zip lining. And at first, it's like, all right, I am backing off of a 30-foot drop here down to the rocks below or the tree, the forest floor below, and we are out in the middle of nowhere. Let's hope that Steve over there knew what he was doing when he put all this gear together, because woo, and you just do it. And after a while, you just trust the gear so much that it's not a thing.
You could go for that, like instead of the weightlifting strength, which of course you'll still weightlift and stuff. You go for that climber strength, where you'll just be like Woody said, lean as just string bean lean, but also got like some lean muscle on there, and your grip strength will be insane.
That grip strength is neat. Like you can't see it from the outside. Like I don't look at a climber's fingers and be like, damn, that guy's got some, I don't even know what these muscles would be called, right? But
their hands are ugly.
they
I feel
exist though.
There are no muscles in your hand. That's why they have big forearms. Because
like there aren't any muscles, but
it's all the
like,
grip from the
well,
forearm.
there's this muscle here, but and this one over here, but like
There are-
all this
Kyle's
stuff up
right.
here is like wires and cables and pulleys and shit that's doing everything else. And like I don't know that no, that's not muscle. Yeah, it's all down here.
This
It's
is
just operating
muscle.
cables and stuff. Yeah, down
Move
here.
around
and
and feel
this
your
is-
forearm.
Yeah.
So I have a.
Oh yeah, well there are muscles that control the pulleys and
Yeah.
stuff. Yeah.
I have damage to one of my nerves, so I have atrophy in my hand, and the camera's not picking up very well. But there's no muscle here. It's sort of string beanie here, and there's no muscle there.
Oh man,
This-
yeah, I can
Ah.
tell.
And
Yeah, it's just
there-
straight.
Hold up
on
your
the
other
side.
hand next to it. For
like
comparison.
your hand's just straight there.
Look
Whereas,
next to my thumb, and then next to my other thumb.
yeah, I've got a chunk of muscle there.
Yeah, and if you,
More on this hand though. I don't know.
I don't know if you can see it, but this
Like a
is
huge
like
amount.
muscle
Look at this
there,
muscle.
and this is just like wrinkly.
Masturbation, Joe.
This is just like wrinkly, soft worthlessness, and this is muscle.
Huh.
I don't know if you can see.
So I don't know
Yeah,
if you
you
guys
definitely
have,
see.
I don't know if you guys are currently banging Brandy, which means that you're a member of the Wings
Jesus
of Redemption
Christ.
subreddit.
No, I'm not.
Yeah.
Fill us in on what this.
Oh, well, I thought I talked about this on the show. Maybe I just told a lot of people about it. So now it feels like everybody should know. If you go to the Wings of Redemption subreddit, it's
I'm
like
going.
5,000 finger sniffers, which is how many are subscribed, and like 75 people. This is the online. 75 people currently blacking Brandy, and so if you're online, you're currently blacking Brandy, and if you're subscribed, then you're a finger sniffer, and I'll admit they have a lot of funny memes over there. I saw one thing that creeped me out a little bit, and I always draw the line when I feel like someone's done something a little too much, little too far. It's gone past like a little bit of fun. Someone took a picture of his house, and you can see his grandma and Harriet on the porch, and you can see his car and stuff, and it's
That's
just like,
creepy as shit.
"Ugh, that's creepy. That's definitely the man's house, 100,000%. That is there his car is. Yep, there's his car." And and I was like, I looked at the comments to see if somebody would call him out for being creepy. They were just like, his truck's not there. Somebody goes, yeah, he's probably out getting Wendy's chili. So over
no
there,
empathy, yeah.
so over there, someone did some math, and they added up how much the surgery supposedly cost versus Wings posted a picture of a check, kind of semi-accidentally. He was showing like his passports and stuff and all his gear when he was going, and there's a check for $5,500. And this guy really broke it down with a timeline and dollar amounts to the point where Wings
Was
had
he
to address
British?
it.
That seems like
Uh,
a very British guy
It's a
thing
text
to do.
post, so I don't know.
Oh, okay.
But
I'm actually looking at it. I could link it.
yeah, he broke it down, and essentially, like, Wings raised $25,000, and it seems that the surgery only cost $5,500.
I don't
Now,
know.
He
of
made
course.
off with a nice little bit.
Here, I'm gonna pull stuff from my hat. So forgive me, but in defense of Wings, here's my suspicion. That check was $5,500, but I bet he also made a deposit. So I don't know what
No.
that. Okay,
No,
I
even
invented
he
that.
says that like the surgery was $5,500.
Okay, so the surgery was
'Cause he's addressed
$5,500,
this.
and I was wrong about the deposit. But didn't he fly himself and a caretaker out to Mexico?
He and his mother flew Spirit Airlines. They flew coach out there, and they flew what he calls the big seats on the way back, which
First
is not
class.
first class. No, it's Spirit doesn't have first class.
Uh huh.
But he booked those tickets so far in advance. I'm sure he got a deal.
No, that is.
I'm sure he got a great deal. when you
Kyle's
book 'em that far
referring
in
to
advance.
him talking about how he had booked tickets, but probably hadn't really.
Talking. Yeah, but so then you've got to. I think his stay at the Holiday Inn was included in the whole thing. If not, how much does it cost to stay at the Holiday Inn? It just seems like thousands of dollars went missing, and instead of him being like, "Look, guys, you gave me the money, I'll do what I want with it," he's just like, "No, it all got spent up. Or I had to pay taxes on that money, all of it," and it's like. Maybe isn't some of that tax deductible? Like some of the.
I could be
He
out of
filmed
date,
it
but
all.
medical costs. Oh, well, that's a fair point. I didn't think of as a business expense. It used to be you had to exceed 7% of your income in medical expenses before it became tax deductible on a personal level.
That
Could be out of date, but I don't know. But
7% before tax. Yeah, that would. I don't know, but yeah, it just seems like some money went missing, and then the guy lays it out there. I think in that post, he's like, and then right after he got back, he went on a spending spree. He's getting an iPhone X. He gets a new car. He upgrades the car. He buys a wagon for somebody. He like he got a new
Apple
chair.
headphones.
Got a new chair.
Yeah,
Well, I guess those chairs are like $700 or something crazy, right?
He can't get a
yeah,
bad chair.
This one is.
He needs a good chair.
Yeah,
That's a
you
Wings
have
thing,
to
right?
have one that'll.
Yeah, like
It's up for the task.
if you just go to Office Max and buy a random chair, it could be too small or too weak. So he invests.
And the fear would be, and look, I have this fear as a normal sized man.
That's what my chair is. It's just a random one
Aren't
from
we
Office
all
Max.
afraid of that after seeing that meme where like the rod stuck up through the seat of the chair and went into the man's asshole? Have you seen that?
No.
There's this there it's an image. It's an image where like, you've got this piston rod, this hydraulic piston rod under you right now, Woody. Like you and I both do. I don't know what Taylor's sitting in. But like, that's your ability to go tss, tss, and like slide up and down. There's a metal hydraulic piston rod down there that's loaded. And I guess like the rod came through the bottom of this guy's chair into his asshole. And the after picture is just the chair with a bloody rod sticking up through the middle, like sticking up like 8-9 inches. Like I'm sure it didn't penetrate him to that degree, but it went into his asshole and not in a friendly kind of like dildo way, like a jagged metal rod kind of way so that you never shit right again.
Rod in your asshole.
Yeah, the bad kind where you never shit right again.
Oh, that
get,
poor
like,
guy. How
butthole
was
infections.
was he a big fella?
I have no idea. See, it's just a picture on the internet, and a story. But like,
so
I have always had that fear that could. So I'm not getting some bullshit chair. I'm not getting one of those Office Max chairs for $68 or something like that. Like, I didn't get like $1,000 chair. I think this was like $700. It's the one I'm so happy I got. Like the arms go like up and down and in and out and forward and backwards. So because it's a gaming chair, so like this part of my arm has a rest that's perfectly level with my table. But what I'm getting at is Wings bought a fairly expensive chair, and what that guy in the post was getting at was that like seems like you bought about $4,000 worth of toys a few months after you got back from your surgery. Actually, if you count the car, then like $8,000 or $9,000 worth of toys.
Yeah, well, okay, so the surgery was 55. I'm gonna guess travel and hotel for a week for two people is over two. Flying to
I don't
Mexico? You know what?
Well, they flew to San Diego.
Drove to
We
Mexico?
looked that up one time, and it was like it was less than $400 a ticket.
So, all right. I was expecting you to be like, well, I just looked it up now, Kyle. It is $328. Oh,
Yeah,
actually, and that's Spirit.
Yeah.
$328. So I thought it was going to be higher.
yeah. And I want to believe the guy. You know, I'm happy that he got the surgery. I was proud of him when he got it. A lot of people didn't think he would get it, and I didn't think for sure that he'd get it, but he did. He even references you in this little video where he says, he says that you were his motivator to like, because when he was in the hospital, he was afraid, and he showed a little video clip, and you see him, and he looks like a zombie, like he's just like deadpan. He's like, I was so scared. I was so scared. He's got the gown and the cap on. He's like, I'm so scared right here. And I just thought about Woody's gamer tag when he said, you've only got to be brave for a few seconds to make a lifetime decision, the lifetime worth of like difference.
That's one of the good things I've done. Like my channel has done some good, and
Yeah.
it makes me proud. 1 second.
God knows how many children you've gotten laid, dude.
I have this picture on my wall, and it says, you only need to be brave for a second. The rest will take care of itself. Someone made this. They were inspired by it. And I guess
the bungee jumper's motto.
I'm proud of it.
Yeah.
Actually, that was like it was cliff jumping. Yeah. But like, that's one of the things that popped it into my head. But it also applies to asking out girls and stuff. I had a lot of young viewers asking for advice in that area. And it was like, yeah, just initiate, just start, talk to her. And then the rest will take care of it. Anyway, so I'm glad that it had a positive impact for him. I also feel like I always knew that part of this donation was like, look, he's going to be out of work for a while because of the actual surgery and then the recovery from the surgery. And
I don't care what he did with the money. Like my
Yeah.
thoughts have always been that like you gave him the money. Like you didn't. You can't really have strings attached to the money you gave him. If it
You don't
at
get
some
ownership
point,
of this man forever.
yeah, it's at some point he's going to be able to say like, hey, it turned out everything was a little cheaper than I thought it was going to be. You know what would help my mental health right now? If I had an iPhone X, that would make me feel like a healthier version of me. You know what else would? A sports car. And a bit of gambling.
It's
A
getting
bit
a
of
little hard
gambling
to
right
swallow
now.
when you.
I'd like to take some of that money you guys sent me, and I'd like to gamble it away because that would cheer me up and it would improve my mental health.
You know that whore you sent to my house?
I paid her.
Just saying.
I gave her a little of that money.
And she gave me a
Shaniqua
little
ate my
something.
ass. She hated it.
I imagine.
Someone asked him that question the other day. He's like, "Do you like to have your ass eaten?" He's like, "I'm a big guy. I never know if I'm clean down there. Not a good idea."
Self-aware.
Yeah.
Go Wings.
I love that answer.
I
love
hope
that
he
answer.
didn't. I hope. Like, there's this thing about he beat the surgery. There's the meme, this and that. I hope it's not true. He doesn't even need to lose a lot. Like, if he lost 2 pounds a month, I'd be pretty excited for him. Just keep that going.
Yeah, anything is better than nothing. Like if he's
24
already
days.
resigned
Anything is
himself.
better than nothing by definition.
Well, I mean, like as far as like I'm being serious though. Like
Unless we're
if he
talking
loses,
about pain.
if he loses 1 pound a week, like that's better than resigning himself to defeat and just being like, well, I'm out. I'm done. I'm always going to be this heavy. May as well eat the way I've always eaten. And then he's gaining.
Yeah, in a short 6 years, he'll be at his goal with that rate. That's great. Yeah.
Better that than to be even heavier than he is now in 6 years.
No, I'm not being facetious. 6, 8 more years of good old dieting, and he'll be there. Yeah.
Now, see, usually when you're looking for fitness plans, you'll find this out. They say, do you want a 6-week plan? Do you want an 8-week plan? Do you want a 12-week plan? And then you can switch it up after that. Nah, fool. You need a plan for the 2020s. The entirety of it. What do you want to look like 10 years from now? This is the mentality to have.
5
Yeah.
years from now,
I
Wings
hope
is
he
going to
does.
be 38. And he can be a thinner one or a fatter one. It's on him. So
Yeah.
And when you get into
absolutely.
like your late 30s, being really, really heavy starts to get dangerous. Like it's not just like, oh, you're just a fat guy. It's like, no, like you're getting to the cusp of when real health problems are going to start rolling in. And you
Yeah,
think
our
it sucked being heavy and fat at 29, at 32, at 34. Wait till you hit 40. Like,
yeah, our bodies are pretty resilient. You can do some awful shit to them, and they'll just take it, and they'll just keep coming. But I feel like you sort of start declining in your mid 30s and late 30s to some extent. Like it's not like your life is over or anything.
it's like I was saying in the text. I was
but
like,
you're not able to shoulder the literal and the literal weight of the situation.
When
as
you're
well anymore.
35,
Andy,
like
heel
playing a
slower.
pro sport, they're like, this guy's a medical miracle. And you're like, okay.
yeah, it gets even younger. Like I'm seeing like
Medical
32-year-old guys in the NHL this year where they're like, well, we're not offering him a 5-year contract. He's 32.
Yeah.
He may as well be dead.
Soon. Yeah. That's how it is. And Kevin
It
Durant didn't get the Supermax. He's one of the best, arguably the best player right now. He's a basketball player. Anyway, so
They just signed Jose Aldo to an 8-fight deal. He was talking about going off to do boxing, so they chopped that shit
it's
right
interesting.
down.
They did Anderson
they're just
Silva
locking
like
him in.
that too. Yeah. He got this is a while ago, so he might even be through it, but he got a 10-fight deal at a time everybody was getting 3s. And they were just like, we need to lock in fighters so that they retire here.
Oh man, we never talked about BJ Penn going wild at the strip club. Did you see that video?
Yeah, he was a fight. He got top, right? He ground and pounded the guy a bit, right?
Yeah, he beat up a
Outside.
bouncer.
Yeah. They're good. First win in a while. I'm glad
That was the number one comment. Glad he
really?
broke the losing streak.
I thought I was so clever.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah, fucking ridiculous. This is a huge weekend of fights. I say it every time one of these super cards comes around, but if anybody out there is like an amateur fan or like you watch like 1 card a year, 2 cards a year, this may very well be that card to purchase or stream.
John Jones
whatever
headlines
you gotta
it.
do.
Love him or hate him, he's one of the top 5 draws in the UFC right now.
Number
Below
1. Gotta be.
Well,
Probably McGregor's still
McGregor
one,
is a
right?
person.
Where's he at right now?
Okay, I was
He's
actually
just
going to
getting
throw
drunk
in.
somewhere on
Who's
his
the guy that
special
just beat
brand.
McGregor?
Urban.
Habib. I'm going for
Habib.
Habib. In
Yeah.
my heart is probably the top draw.
He might be. Yeah, he's the number one paid guy, so that would make sense.
And then I'd be delusional if I thought DC was a bigger draw than John Jones, but he's also a top 5 draw, perhaps.
Yeah.
Anyway,
so yeah, Jones is fighting. Holly Holm is fighting Amanda Nunes. And then this big fight, the biggest one for me, honestly, is Jorge Masvidal versus Ben Askren, because there's been so much vitriol. There's been so much hate spewed back and forth between the two of them, where like Ben Askren is like a witty, smart guy who's like picking on you to like pump the fight up. Jorge Masvidal is like a dumb street thug who's just like not getting the jokes and getting real mad about it.
He doesn't
So
play
it's
that
funny.
shit. And I feel like Kyle's description was on target, but I see it slightly differently. Like, I don't know. For example, I don't know if you've ever had anyone in your life who just doesn't like to be touched, right? Don't put your hand on his shoulder. This guy's not a fucking toucher. Give him some space. Jorge, like, okay, he's not as smart as Askren, but he's not a goofy guy. He doesn't like being joked around with. Some people don't like being picked on. You could say he can't take a joke, but like that's not how they roll. That's not how he rolls. He's about respect. He's about, the consequences for words. That's how he is. And Askren is just in a whole different universe, right? He's been to college. He's a different guy, and they'll never be friends. So I like watching the lead up to it. I like watching Askren. Jorge Masvidal is the guy who said, the guy talked shit to me, so I hit him with a 3-piece and a soda. They asked Ben Askren about it. He's like, that's not witty, but it was cool. I'll give him credit for saying a neat thing. But that 12-year-old girl who said, catch me outside, how about that?
Yeah.
That's the same thing, right? She wasn't clever or witty. She just came up with a thing that made her career. That's what he did. He just said a goofy thing. And anyway, I'm very interested in that fight. I can't wait. I don't know who's going to win.
I think I would lean toward Ben, because I always lean toward the wrestler or the guy who's about controlling where the fight goes over the striker. And I think Jorge is more of a volume striker than he is a knockout artist, despite his last two fights, the one he had in the ring and then the one he had in the press conference. So I think that like we saw that Ben can take a serious beating when Robbie got all over him. I don't think Jorge has Robbie Lawler power, and I think that Ben is going to weather whatever storm is required to get inside and grab onto Jorge, and then it's going to be all she wrote.
So up until the last sentence, I was on board with everything. Only caveat is this guy fought Damian Maia, perhaps the best ground fighter in the history of mixed martial arts across the entire universe, and he lost to a split decision. The guy went all 3 rounds with him. He couldn't get finished against the guy who's much better on the ground than Ben Askren. So I don't know I don't know who's going to win.
Maia's more about submissions, though, right?
He is, yeah. But he's also,
I
think he had position all the time and just didn't finish him. And then the guy's defense was better than expected.
I think Askren's better at grinding out those decisions with just position. I feel like his wrestling is more about gaining and maintaining strong positions, and even in transition, always being in that scramble of transition between whatever north-south and some sort of side control or something. He's gonna be the 200 IQ guy in that scenario where like you might be afraid, or not you personally, but his opponent might be afraid. We'd all be afraid here. If Ben Askren put his hands on me, I'd be like, rape!
Yeah.
No. They tell you to yell fire. That's right, fire.
Ben Askren spent most of his year not in the UFC, but in something called One Fighting Championship. And because of that, I haven't really seen his whole body of work. I just know his reputation. And I guess we'll learn more.
I've seen his body, though, and it's hilarious.
Yes,
Taylor,
yes. I
Taylor,
compare okay with my shirt off to Ben Askren.
Yeah, I do too. Ben Askren, like Ben Askren has dad bod. He's got like love handles, and he's got like he doesn't have defined pecs. He doesn't even have like strong arms, it seems. They don't look that way. But then he does that double watermelon crush with his arms, and it's just like, I picked up a watermelon today at the market. I couldn't crush that.
Dude, other fighters were like, That had to be a fake video. He's like, I think those were doctored
He doctored
watermelons.
the melon.
Yeah, yeah. So
He looks like a normal dude you'd see at a pool,
yeah,
like a public pool.
Oh, totally.
Luke
Yeah.
Rockhold's fighting. Am I right about that?
Luke Rockhold was on the card. There may have been some kerfluffle with his opponent. I didn't follow like I'm not a big Luke Rockhold fan. I don't know. He's middleweight, right?
It says he's fighting. He's actually doing his 205 debut, if I'm right. And
Okay.
he says he's fighting Jan Blachowicz.
Yeah, I think
don't
maybe
know
he
his-
lost his original opponent.
Okay.
I couldn't say for sure exactly what's going on there.
Diego
but,
Sanchez versus Michael Chesia.
Always like watching Diego fight.
Mhm.
Diego's a madman.
Mhm.
He's kind of nutty, a little cringy at the same time. Like he's clearly knows that he's nutty, and but I always like to watch his fights.
He believes. Do you remember The Secret? You guys were probably young, but
yeah.
when I was in like
visualize-
my 20s or something, The Secret was a big deal, and you just visualize success. You imagine things happening, and then it happens, and like everyone was a Jedi or something. Well, Diego is all about The Secret, and he does exercises where he screams yes. Just says yes. He does yes cartwheels. Like, and they had it on video at the Ultimate Fighter where he's just doing cartwheels, yelling yes, yes, yes across the grass. That is just one of many, many things that he's crazy, he's silly, and he's nice. So I like him. He's up against Chesia, who's a dick. So
yeah, isn't it? Yeah. It's good. It's going to be a good year of fighting. I'm very excited about the rest of the year. Colby Covington's finally going to fight. I don't even remember the last time he fought. I feel like Connor has fought since more regular than Colby Covington has. Like since he won that interim belt and went to the White House. Like I don't even remember the
Robbie
last
Lawler?
time he fucking.
Is that right?
He's going to fight Robbie. Yeah, and get destroyed. I predict. I always bet on Robbie. Robbie's a bad motherfucker. Robbie just looks the part.
Yes.
Robbie just looks the part, and it's not like overstated. He's not like an overstated badass. He's the opposite. He's an understated badass, and yet he still looks scary as fuck and just hard as nails. And he looks like he's got mental strength, like something about the way he carries himself in interviews, in pre-fight, post-fight, in the cage. It just seems to me that Robbie Lawler really has his head screwed on straight, and this is business as usual. Oh, I'm in the ring. A million people are watching. There's another half-naked man coming across there that's been training for 6 months to destroy me. Another day in the office.
Robbie Lawler. So a couple things. I love Robbie Lawler. I love his personality. He's one of my favorite fighters to watch, to listen to, like Kyle pointed out. I saw like he doesn't seem to value his fighting skills that much. And by that I mean like people are like, dude, you realize this is an auditorium of 2,000 regular people. And you could beat all of them up. And he just like, but that's silly. Like like he values, like he just does it like, I don't know. It must be an interesting thing to walk around and always be tougher than everybody else in line of sight. Always. That's the life he lives.
You could say that it's almost like you're saying it to a gun owner. Like, hey, dude, you could kill anyone here you wanted. Yeah, but that's fucking crazy. Don't even say that out loud.
But
like, Jesus Christ.
But I don't know that they all do that, right? Like I've heard Chuck Liddell. I bet he's very aware. They're like, I'm in this club, and if there's any trouble, I'm the guy that handles it, or at least prime.
If Chuck Liddell is going up against that bouncer in Hawaii, my money's on the bouncer in Hawaii.
Well, isn't Chuck Liddell like 70 years old?
I was really going for the Chuck Liddell that used to go to clubs a
59.
lot. Yeah, back when he was in
his
30s.
Yeah. Oh yeah, back cocaine Chuck Liddell.
Bad
will
man.
Fuck
bad
your
man.
world up. Oh my God, coked out Chuck Liddell might as well be an actual pit bull.
The thing I was going to say about Robbie, that I hate that I believe this. I think he's on performance enhancing drugs. The fact that he had like a career resurgence in his mid 30s and looks like an action figure.
Yeah, he does. I don't know, like.
I'd
like to see one of those embedded series to like see what his work ethic is like. Like I feel like for him to maintain what he currently has and where he is, both from a performance level, like a skill level, and from a physicality sort of standpoint, he must be putting some time in at his age. Or like you said, he's on something.
I'm looking at a picture of him now. This is going to be a big link, but it'll take you to where I am. He has traps, right? These are traps, Taylor? Back me up here. From your neck to your deltoids.
Yeah.
They're a muscle group that responds to steroids really well. And I'm just looking at him like, oh my, they're outstanding.
That is probably steroids.
Yeah. But I don't want it to be true, so it's not.
Yeah, I like him. I like him a lot. I like him
maybe
better
not.
with
In this
too.
picture, he's like screaming and flexing, and so like you can tell. So maybe like he looks more normal when he's just standing around.
Mine probably look like that too if I were to scream.
Yeah, that's exactly how I look when I get upset. When I win or when I get excited about winning a bout in the UFC.
Yeah, he could be. You never know. I think they've got the best testing in the entire sports world right now, like outside of the Olympics. And we've even seen that in the because it is basically Olympic level. And what we've seen in the Olympics is it really depends on who's the home country if they're going to be legit or not. We saw what the fucking Ruskies did.
Yeah, Russia's super corrupt, but I don't think China's going to be much less.
No, China sends those like children in and lies about how old they are in gymnastics because apparently it's an advantage to be 12.
Dude, yeah, I don't know why. The Russian sampling was hilariously corrupt, and you expect it to be kind of high tech, right? Like oh, they're fumbling this or that, or they're forging tests or whatever. No, the office that held the samples had a fucking glory hole, and they would just pass good pee in and bad pee
it's like
out.
That thing at the bank. They're just like.
And an inside job, and
all right, that's good shit. Although they did come up with a very sophisticated way to like crack into that piss jar because they had like these custom made piss jars that have like a tamper proof type lid, and it's very sophisticated. It's not like a milk jug where if you just twist the whole thing just right, it'll come off anyway without pulling the tab. Like it was so that it was tamper evident. If somebody fucked with it, they'd know. I don't remember. I think they either built a machine to get around that or something. I watched that whole Nowitzki documentary.
Icarus or something.
Icarus
I need
is
to see
great.
that. Yeah.
Oh, you haven't seen Icarus?
No, I've heard a million times how great it is, and
very good, very good.
I never had the commitment to watch. It's like 90 minutes long, right? So instead, I choose
I would say
4 half-hour YouTube videos because I don't have time for 90-minute movies.
I watched the 90-minute documentary about Bob Lazar that's on Netflix. It just came out. It's the reason he was on Joe Rogan, and I feel like him being on Joe Rogan pumped it up to be like trending on Netflix.
For people who aren't, we talked about it in the PKA Hangout. Bob Lazar worked at Area 51 and has seen alien spacecraft.
Yeah, he claims he has, and he's got a very bizarre story where like a lot of it like has come true. Like a lot of the things that he said that he saw at the time were actual top secret like stuff, and now it's released, and there's like, yeah, you see, and he can prove he worked at certain facilities. I won't go into it a second time, but
it seems like everything he said has either come true or not come true yet. Nothing's been proven false.
Yeah, we haven't seen any flying saucers yet or anything. And again, I don't know how I feel about the whole thing, but I watched the 90-minute documentary, and what was interesting to me is he's into jets and rockets. So like he built his first jet motorcycle when he was a teenager, and his mom is like, I just looked out the window and there's Bob on some sort of a rocket bike. And I looked and like then he put a rocket or a jet engine on a Honda, and he's just driving around town in a Honda with a huge jet engine coming out the back that's almost as big as the Honda itself. And then like modern day Bob Lazar, who's I guess in his 50s or maybe early 60s, he's got a bicycle, and it's got like this bottle of jet fuel and this like capacitor or something. I don't know anything about this stuff. And he turns a knob and it goes, and a jet turns on in the back, and you see like the cone that like shapes the exhaust turn red hot, and then he goes and takes off on his bicycle that has a jet engine on it, like a little jet engine the size of like maybe a little bigger than a 20-ounce bottle is like the actual jet part. I immediately go, Pulse jet engines for sale. like I want one. I want one on my. I don't have a bicycle, but I'll get one. God damn it, let's go.
Have to buy a bicycle to buy the rocket.
Yeah,
People have made paramotors with jet engines like that.
Oh,
Or
don't do
rocket
that.
engines
Yeah,
or something.
that seems like risky business.
Don't do that. That seems outrageous.
You know, the
Adding
big
fire.
issue I have is the noise. It makes it like it's more
Yeah, that's the
unpleasant. I
issue.
found,
The noise of you hitting the ground.
dude.
That's
It's like
that's the one you should be concerned with.
I don't know how to describe this noise of like propulsed flame. Like it's super loud and it's like standing outside, at the airport. You've probably never done that, but
Where do
when
you attach the jet? Like to your back?
yeah,
Like instead of the fan, you have a jet on your back. Is that the deal?
yes.
Okay, all right. That's cool as shit. You're a Rocketeer virtually at that point. They have Rocketeer suits now.
That's cool. Are you gonna buy one of those?
No, I'm not gonna buy a fucking Rocketeer suit. At the most, I'm actually looking at these jet engines to put onto something because they're affordable and you can kind of make them yourself. And you buy a kit and you just build the thing. So I might make some sort of a jet bike just to fuck around. It's not expensive.
If you click on that link, you'll see one example of it.
Oh, that's Death Incarnate.
Yeah, so the guy's just got 2 jets, a left and a right one.
Kinetic jetpack designer Jack McCormick minutes before he exploded.
Yeah, and you use a paraglider overhead for lift, and there you are. You're a
Holy
human airplane,
shit, dude. Your neighbors would love this.
It's a really unpleasant sound. Paramotors in general are unpleasant sounding, but this is worse.
I like this one
stick
better.
with the boilerplate paramotor. This doesn't look like it's been FDA approved or whoever
think
needs to approve this. Probably not the
but
FDA.
FDA
They'd be like,
is
well, you
funny.
certainly can't eat this.
Oh, it's so loud. It's a screech.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just found a video of a guy who has what looks like a more modern version.
Can you link it?
Yeah. It's like it's just a really annoying high pitched like screech thing.
Right, so this is the test flight of
Look at those jet engines on either side of him. What if you touch one?
It seems like none of this looks smart.
No. Well, he's got a helmet.
Those
It's
might
not gonna
be.
keep. It's not an anti-fire helmet.
And if it were, it's only on his head. He's gonna need some fish fucking skin after this.
I
Yeah,
think
he's gonna need to hit up
that's
the tilapia section of his local supermarket.
by sound. I think those might be ducted fans, not jets.
Really? But paraglide thrusters.
Oh, it's
Paraglide
still
test
awful.
flight
Even I
with
don't want to
Dream
hear
Science
it anymore.
Propulsion Thruster System. Let me Google that. Dream Science Propulsion.
A friend of mine. Remember the girl I took up tandem?
Yeah.
I sent you guys some text. She landed in a tree a few days ago. And when I first saw her landing in a tree, I thought it was the funniest thing. Lots of pilots land in trees. They rarely get hurt. It's great. It's a cool experience. It teaches you not to go too close to trees. It's cool. So I listened to the video now. Oh my God. Just the audio is compelling. To hear that, I don't know how to describe panic breathing. But it's like the terror and like 30 seconds before it happens, she's talking to an instructor. She's out there taking lessons, and she's like, "I am not gonna make it back to the LZ, guys. I'm going down." And you're looking at it, and like, even though I know how it ends, I have hope, right? Like, if I were I'm looking at this video, I think there's 50-50 she hits trees. And there's one particularly tall one, and she skims it and makes it past. And you're like, oh, could she? Maybe. And then the next one comes, and the next one seemed a little taller than average, but it's like, dude, they're all seeming taller than average as she gets closer and closer to the canopy. And she hits the tree, and her wing stops flying. Now it's not a wing anymore. It's not a device that gives lift. It's a parachute, a big branch catcher, and she just drops what I'll call 20 feet straight down, like free falls. And she's not feet first. She's kind of like back first as she's dropping through the canopy. And then the lines suspend her like 30 feet off the ground. And it's like, oh, well, we've changed problems. You know? And man, I can't wait for her edited video to come out. She's also an actress, so she does like good storytelling. And it's having like a secondhand fear injury off of this thing. Like it's frightening to watch.
Yeah, the picture you texted us was really funny. It's like her doing a selfie in a tree, going, "Hey,
Dude, that's it.
And-
It's in the video, right? So she's like,
She's just happy she's not dead.
click. And I'm like, that picture looks so funny and like settled and okay. But
Yeah.
the breathing that you don't see in the picture was so panicked. And she said, like, immediately she comes on the radio, I'm okay, I'm okay. And I'm like, you don't know you're okay yet. Like, you hit a tree 15 seconds ago. Have you wiggled your toes? I can't wait for her video to come out because
you don't know if there's leopards in there."
Oh, she
Could
didn't
be
get down for a
bears.
long time. Like where she landed wasn't near any roads or even paths. So she's like blowing a whistle while the rescuers try to find. It was hours. She's hanging from trees, high and safe, but she's hearing wolves and getting eaten alive by mosquitoes and listening to wolves. And she says, "This really sucks." She's Facebook messaging us all night while she's in this situation, and
It'd be so easy to troll her, like, "Hey, we're packing it in for the night. We're gonna come back out in the morning, continue the search. Hang tight."
I don't know how she got down. I want to ask about it. You can see that she threw her reserve after she crashed. So that's the thing people do sometimes. They throw the reserve and climb down it. I don't know what they did. So
Interesting. Yeah.
Well, glad she's okay.
she is.
Yeah.
2 days later, they got the gear.
Jesus. Well, at least they got her shit.
Yep. Yep. All right. PKN 254.
Yep.